Hello, so why is driving so hard? Well, I've taught over 1,000 people to drive, and I'm also a professional therapist who works with people all over the world to help them overcome their fear of driving. So in this video, I'm going to answer the question of why driving is so hard and why it's not actually hard at all. When people learn to drive, they have to think about what they're doing, and this is really where the problem comes from. You see, when you're a new driver, you're having to think about which pedal do I press, which mirror do I have to look in, how do I indicate, what does that sign mean, are those lights going to change, what's the speed limit on this road. You are simply overwhelmed by information, and here's the really interesting thing: nobody can drive consciously. You see, the thing is, with experienced drivers such as myself and anyone who's been driving for a while, we drive with our subconscious mind. That means that when I get in the car, I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. I'm moving my arms and my legs and I'm checking my mirrors and I'm driving very well, but I'm not even aware that I'm doing it. Now here's an example of how hard it is when you do something consciously. So please don't listen to the next part of the video if you have any problems at all with your breathing, if you've got asthma or epilepsy or anything else that may be badly affected by having a breathing problem. Please skip the next part of the video. I'll put a marker on the screen, a timestamp of when it's safe for you to come back. But as long as you've got no problems with your breathing, let me give you an example of how powerful the subconscious mind is. I want you to think of something that you do subconsciously all the time, and that something is breathing. I want you to think now about breathing and take a breath in and take a breath out and a breath in, and notice that breathing, and just notice how you're having to think about your breathing now, and notice how much more difficult it is to breathe when you have to think about it. Now you can let that return to your subconscious mind anytime you choose to, and the thing is, you don't need to be worried, because you could think, well, if I stop breathing, I'll die, and you become very aware of that fact, and you start panicking and breathing harder and taking deeper breaths in and out. There's no need to worry. You can just let that now go back to your subconscious mind. Let your subconscious or unconscious mind, as some people call it, take the control of your breathing, and you'll be fine, and you'll soon forget I ever said that and be back to normal. But did you notice how awkward that was when we brought something to your attention that you normally just take for granted? So wasn't that annoying to have to think about your breathing? How frustrating was that? Can you think about going through your whole life having to think about your breathing? Well, that's what it's like for some people when they drive. Whereas I would drive and my mind just subconsciously does it on its own. It just happens. People are having to think about what they do. There are 4 levels of learning when it comes to this. So let me take you through what these 4 levels are and see if you can say this as a tongue twister, because it's quite hard to remember and quite hard to say. So the 4 levels of learning are unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, unconscious competence. So what does that mean? Well, let's go through each one step by step, and this will explain why driving can seem so hard, but it gets easier and easier. So the first one, unconscious incompetence, means you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what you should be doing. Now that is a bad place to be. It simply means you don't know anything. You're unaware of what you should be doing because you're incompetent and you're unconscious, so you don't know what you should be doing and you don't know why you should be doing it. When you start to learn a skill, you go to the next level, which is conscious incompetence. So you're now aware of what you should be doing, but you just can't actually do it. So you're conscious of the situation. You think, yes, I should be doing this, and I should be in first gear, and I should be accelerating, but you find it hard to do because you are still incompetent. The next level is conscious competence. You know what to do and you know how to do it, but you notice at the beginning you're still conscious of it, so you're still having to think. And this is the level, this third level, that many people get to quite quickly, and this is the one that's quite hard to break through. But when you do break through, you go to the next level of unconscious competence. That means you don't know what you're doing, but you are doing it. That is the ultimate achievement for any skill, to be unconsciously competent. But I would like to add my own 5th level into this, and this is one that I designed myself, and this is conscious unconscious competence. What that means is you don't know what you're doing, but you can do it. But you notice at the beginning there's an extra conscious, so you are aware of the fact that you're not aware of how to do something. That's the level that driving instructors need to be at, that therapists need to be at, because you see, we need to know how we don't know something. Confused? Don't worry, just watch you back a few times and it will make sense. What we're saying is quite simply that when you drive a car, you first of all have to think really hard about what you're doing, but the more you do it, the more you practice it. Like any skill, it gets easier and easier the more you do. And it's easy just to say that, but it's because it's going into your subconscious mind, just like your breathing. So if ever you've wondered why driving seems so hard, that's all it is. It's just a case of getting used to it and pushing it from your conscious mind into your subconscious mind. And you know, it would be silly of me to suggest that maybe the best person to learn to drive with would be someone who is both a driving instructor and a hypnotist. Check out these other videos on the screen now, and if you'd like to work with me one-to-one to overcome your fear of driving, there's a link in the description, or just visit my website firstdrive.com. Please do subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.